They did get to spend Christmas Eve and part of Christmas morning with their families. You may remember in 1985, McHale took the fine and came in late rather than come into New York on Christmas Eve. That was a championship season, last championship for the Celts, 85-86. They had a 25-point lead on Christmas Day at Madison Square Garden and lost in double overtime to the Knicks. Scott Williams tips it home after the Jordan miss.
It has been the aggressiveness of the Bulls in this quarter that has really hurt the Celtics. Shaw trying to go all the way.
That is what you call your emphatic rejection.
The crowd responds to these kind of blocks more than if you just tip it and keep it. Coaches prefer that somehow you make the block and you get it back and get an easy transition hoop the other way.
Fox with Jordan. And one North Carolina player fouls another.
Chicago personal foul 23, Michael Jordan with his second penalty.
Speaking of Carolina, Chris Ford was quoted in the paper as Bird prepares to come back in as saying he had some doubts about Rick Fox's abilities on defense. Dean Smith took the unusual measure of penning a handwritten note to Ford. He said, Chris, don't worry. I schooled this kid right. He'll play D for you. Meanwhile, Fox was saying, I'm wondering, here's a look as Jordan bonks him on the dome. I'm wondering when Chris Ford is going to call me Rick. He calls all first-year players Rook and Rook only. D. Brown said it wasn't until I came back as a second-year man that I ever heard him say D. We're all Rook, no matter what we do, until the first year's over.
That's part of that Boston tradition, and of course, Chris Ford is from the old school of how rookies are broken in, and that makes a difference. Let's see if Boston can apply some pressure out at the point and make Chicago do something they don't want to do, because right now they're passing the ball and let people cut wherever they want.
B.J. Armstrong with the floater, doesn't get the roll, and Bird is there. Nice spin move, but missed the shot badly. McHale chases it down. This is a three that spins out. Purdue's got it. Pippen with Armstrong. B.J. Armstrong.
Interesting thing about the Celtics, they can have some embarrassing games like this where they look old and tired, and then after an embarrassing loss, come back and respond and play 4 or 5 very good ball games. And they're on their way tonight to an embarrassing loss if they don't get a wake-up call. Armstrong red hot.
He continues to sizzle. He's got 18. Bird's reverse a moment ago gave him just 6. Shaw hits it off the glass. But the Celtics can't trade. They got to make a run. Pippen on the pull-up.
The Bulls are one of those teams that play extremely good basketball when they're out in front, and they can continue to snowball. McHale trying to fight for position down on the bottom.
Can't hit it. Klein will follow, and Joe Klein puts it down.
2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
McHale comes away with the loose ball. Bird cross court to Shaw. Shaw on the drive. Hit by Purdue, and Brian Shaw will come to the free throw line. First, a Chicago timeout.
Chicago personal foul 32, Will Purdue.
B.J. Armstrong with 18 off the bench. 1:50 to play in the third. Michael Jordan taking a rest. He has only 10 points. Pippen has 22. The man with the ball now, Armstrong, off the bench with 18. Fine all-round contribution from the consistently improving Horace Grant. He's got 12 points, 11 rebounds, a couple of assists, and a pair of blocks. Pippen fouled by Shaw.
Boston personal foul 20.
You know, when people talk about some change of heart on Michael Jordan's part, you really have to give Michael the benefit of the doubt. There really was a time when it was apt to talk about Michael Jordan and the Jordan-heirs. He has willingly pulled his own game back, as guys like Horace Grant, who had a career-high 28 against Derek Coleman head-to-head in a game against the Nets a week ago, Pippen moving up to all-star status. Paxson shooting the ball so remarkably well last year in the playoffs. A kid like Armstrong off the bench. As these guys have asserted themselves and won his confidence, he hasn't just been willing, he's been eager to step into a new role.
They had to arrive, and Jordan had to carry the load until they arrived. And for some players, it took longer. The most versatile player next to Jordan is Pippen. And with his arrival at such a versatile player, certainly it's made his life easier. His rebounding is at an all-time high. His assists nearing that as well as they work inside the box trying to overpower Bob Hansen.
And yet, with it all, he may still lead the league in scoring, albeit with a lower number than in the past. He's not quite at 30, but he's about a point per game ahead of Dominique Wilkins at this point.
You see the minutes and the points and how the numbers are staying just about the same in terms of time on the floor, but the scoring is coming down. Now, the Celtics have a chance to score easily. I mean, they're not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination. They have no control of the floor. They have no control of the scoreboard, but they're still within shouting distance, and they've got to do a better job in this final 121 of forcing Chicago to make some mistakes, getting some easy turnovers, and then look to try to turn the next 6 minutes into their ball game.
Nice speed from Purdue to Pippen. How about that pass by Will Purdue?
Smoke is the best word that you can use in this situation, and Pippen smokes the interior players of the Boston Celtics. A high-wire act that has been devastating here tonight. Nice no-look from Will Purdue. Upper deck takes care of that.
And a three-point play to up his game-high total to 27. Coming off a 37-point effort against Atlanta on Saturday night. That was some game. Dominique had 44. Jordan and Pippen each had 37.
And it took 3 quarters for the Bulls defense to establish itself and finally to choke down the Hawks and make them a perimeter team. Trying to find Parrish.
Which he did, but Robert can't convert. Bobby Hansen tried to pass through a crowd to Pippen, and eventually Armstrong has it. Bobby Hansen, liberated from Sacramento in the Dennis Hobson deal.
This Pippen is everywhere. He's turned into rubber man, and he's made it real tough for Boston to get anything done. They're down by 20.
Shaw misses from just inside the three-point arc. Pippen to Purdue. Missed the stuff, but was fouled.
Now, this is the real secret to Chicago's success. The emergence of Pippen. Where is Michael Jordan? Sitting, resting, and the Bulls are pulling away as Purdue tries to throw it down.
Will Purdue with those size 22s at the free throw line.
Yeah, but you can pick them up and lay them down when you got an easy deuce. So the size of his feet are not stopping from getting close to that hoop.
That is the biggest set of dogs in the league since the days of Bob Lanier.
Craig Hodges is off the injured list and makes another appearance, and we'll find out if he can find his long-distance game. In a game like this, everybody's going to score. You're probably even asked to get in it, shoot a free throw.
Last 15 seconds of the quarter. The Bulls led by 9 at the half. They've opened it to 22. Lewis. Another try with the left hand. And he banks it home. Hurrying for the last shot. Pippen beats the buzzer. Doesn't fall.
At the end of 3 quarters.
Still, he had 11 in the quarter. He's got 27 for the game. And the Bulls are dumping a major load of coal into the Celtics stocking tonight. Back after this from your locals. As of yet, nobody has truly asserted themselves at last year's Laker or Portland level out of the West. And the Bulls are so clearly the best team in the East and in the league overall that right now, if the playoffs were to start right now, they would be a prohibitive favorite.
They would have to be, and that's the same position that Portland was in, but they saw the season close up on them. The Bulls only finished 2 games behind them in terms of best record. The Lakers chased them pretty hard, so there are going to be some teams that are going to emerge and challenge the Bulls. And right now, the Bulls have what champions have. They have arrogance, they have swagger. They believe that they can win any time.